Hello! So it is August 18th, and it has been quite a while since I've done a writing update. I have been writing, I guess less frequently. I'm not writing every single day anymore, but I am trying to work on my stories every single day. I've written 3 short stories so far in the month of August, which does seem like kind of a lot, in my opinion. Having gone from like none to 3 is kind of drastic. So I guess I'll talk a little bit about each of those stories. I had been doing writing every day using a prompt list, or about every day using a prompt list during the month of July for Camp NaNoWriMo. And now in August, what I'm trying to do is take all of the prompt-based writing inspiration, my favorite things and elements from that period, and spin them off into full-blown short stories. And so towards the end of July, I got really into, playing around with the prompts as short stories, but I didn't have enough time each day to really do a full exploration. So now I'm using those to, make a full thing. So the first story that I wrote that, I think I completed it on August 6th, was called Garden Day. And let me pull up the document so I can look at the word count and all that. Also, kind of a side note, I did create another YouTube channel, a new one called Jenny Fern, which I think I've decided is going to be my pen name, which I'm pretty excited about. Then I can have writings under a name and have it all organized. So Jenny Fern, and I'll have the channel linked in the description. I'm kind of using that channel as like a place to put my like kind of experimental artsy shit on, and leaving this channel as kind of the informal writing vlog type channel. So anyway, that's kind of a big decision, and I made it pretty much on a whim because I took a YouTube survey when I was uploading one of my videos, and one of the things that I kind of was thinking about is I think sometimes this channel is less, it's because it's so old and I like have so much content on it, I don't think it is given any chance because it is old, has no traction, and like doesn't, like, it has so much content on it that it's like been given a chance, I guess. I don't know if that makes any sense. But then I'm trying with a new one, and that one has been shown to literally no one. I like checked my reach, and yeah, it has only been me, so that's, I think I might have guessed how it worked incorrectly. So anyway, I'm trying to make people aware of that channel now, because I thought I'd just give it a chance of like on its own. Let's see if YouTube sends this out to anybody, and it doesn't look like they did. So anyway, interesting stuff, kind of. So the first draft of Garden Day, I actually just uploaded a video on the Jenny Fern channel that is a reading of this first draft of this story. So if you're interested in that, that's on that channel. I will have linked in the description. I tried to make the audio levels good. I kind of think I didn't. I'm sorry if they're bad. I don't know. It's hard sometimes. But there is some really cool plant stuff in that video, so. Garden Day is 2,231 words. I finished it, I finished it on August 4th, actually. And my main character, her name is June Cervantes. She is a recent grad from a college, and she is going to her great aunt's house on her aunt's 51st or 52nd wedding anniversary in order to help her maintain her garden, because it has been a bit of a tradition since her great aunt, her name is Gloria, since Gloria's husband died. And he used to get her flowers to plant in the yard every wedding anniversary. So yeah, this is about kind of loss and death and loss and that kind of stuff. The story Garden Day was very heavily influenced by the writing in prompt number 2, prompt number 9, and prompt number 12. So about planting plants, pulling up weeds, and then being an old woman alone, basically. I like this. I think it's sweet. A couple of things. I didn't get very deep into the character. That's one of the things that I'm trying to work on, is being more involved with the character and like knowing the character more. I feel like I don't know June super well. She works at a coffee shop. Her family has kind of left her in this town, in her town where she went to college and where her aunt lives. And she's fairly independent. And I know a bit about Gloria as well, but not like a whole lot. They're kind of still a little bit of a blank slate, but I think it's fine in this story. It works without having me really know these characters. So, the next story that I wrote was called When Lost, Blend In. I might want to change it to just Blend In, but I kind of like the idea of When Lost, Blend In. This is about a girl who is still in college. A lot of them are like college age, recently graduated, or like a couple years graduated girls, because that's what I am. Kind of. I'm a little bit older, but that's kind of who these characters are. The themes that I'm kind of exploring are about this age of girl for the most part. So her name is Rosemary Burke. She is working as a dog sitter in the summer between 2 years of college, and she was expecting to get an internship at her local credit union because she's studying finance in college. And she had recently gotten a rejection, and she wanted to know, like, why did I not get this internship? Could you help me in the future of, like, what can I do to improve to get an internship? And the response, or like the feedback that she got, was that she didn't seem passionate about the field. And so she's kind of like thinking this over while she's dog sitting at this more rural area. And there's an old field in the back of the house where she takes the dog that she's dog sitting on a walk in the evening. Which was like a suggestion of the owner who's left. This incorporates one of the later prompts, which is heavily inspired by me going on a walk with Clover in a field and like kind of getting a little bit lost for a moment, and like kind of being a little bit afraid that I wasn't gonna get back before sunset, kind of thing. So yeah, basically she meets some wild animals who give her some advice. This one's a little bit like on the nose of like what the message is and like how it's portrayed, I guess, because the She meets a coyote and a hawk. I am giving quite a lot of the story away, but I think that's fine. She meets a coyote and a hawk, and the coyote used to be the brother of the dog that she's dog sitting. So they used to be a dog, and then the hawk used to be a cockatoo, and they got lost in this field and morphed into the like wild animals. And so she's kind of afraid that she's gonna get stuck in this field, and you know, like turn into some wild animal or something. But they're just saying like everyone is lost, everyone is blending in, and then she gets a job in finance after she graduates, and she realizes that she's lost and she's trying to blend in. So it's a little bit like, okay, we get it, but I didn't know that that's what I was writing until I thought about it a little bit, and I was like, okay, she is like, she's lost, she's like aimless, and she's not passionate about her field. So I went back and added in that information about her like finance stuff, because just at the very end she gets a job and she's unhappy and she's like, you know, it's not right for her. I don't know. I'm a little on the fence with this one, just because of how blatant it is, but I'm not sure how exactly to change it. I still have to think about that one. This one is 1,938 words, and I finished this on August 6th, apparently. So 2 days after. That's kind of crazy. 2 days after Garden Day? Maybe that's why it's not very good. Then I have a story called Hibernation. And this is really based on this much shorter version of this story that I wrote for the writing prompt thing, all about a woman who, she goes to the doctor, and the doctor's like, your metabolism is low, you know, you have like a low temperature, and her like vitals are indicating that she has a low metabolism, and she recommends like some changes in her diet, some exercise, and yeah, that kind of stuff. And then instead of doing that, she goes out into an empty lot, and she digs a hole and she goes into it to hibernate. So it's about this woman who either can or thinks she can hibernate. And so that like idea is what this story is stemming from, except with a fully realized character, and a bit of tweaks to how the story is told. So in this story, the main character is Abigail, and it starts in middle school. She's in the locker room talking to this other girl about trying out for volleyball, but she has to get her physical first, her like sign off that she can do the sports. So then she goes to the doctor with her mom, fills out a couple forms, and goes to the doctor. And she's like a little overweight, this character. And she's also in the waiting room. She sees like a kid's, like a Zoo Kids kind of magazine about hibernating animals. So that's kind of where that comes in on this one. In the previous one, she went to the doctor as an adult, and she also saw like a hibernation thing as an adult. So that's how this is a little bit different. Again, she has like a low temperature. She generally seems like she might have a low metabolism. And the doctor is saying like, hey, this volleyball thing's probably going to be good for you. And then in high school, there's like a couple lines about her in high school. We don't really see her in high school, but she quits volleyball and she becomes a goth. I don't know, I thought that was fun. That, like, it's kind of silly. Like, I had this idea kicking around in my head for quite a long time because I didn't know how to continue with it. I wrote some bits when I figured out that's what it was going to be, and then I, like, waited again and figured out more bits and was like, okay, that's perfect. And for some reason, this, like, that she was a goth in high school, that's probably not even necessary, like, at all, but it, like, made me understand her. It's weird. So now she's 27, she works at a hotel as, like, the reception person, or, like, the lobby person, I don't know what that's called. And she, meets this guest staying at the hotel named Cynthia, and Cynthia is, like, this Arizona kind of, like, free spirit lady, and she keeps saying to, like, listen to your body, and she's a little crunchy. Abigail's kind of like, okay, this lady's crazy. And then she sees another magazine, and it is about the secret to a longer life, and it's about, like, metabolism and stuff like that. And yeah, it talks a little bit about hibernation as well, like hibernating turtles. And then Cynthia goes to a pond that Abigail says is nearby. And then when Abigail is leaving, she walks by the pond, and Cynthia's like, hey, come over here. And she's kind of, like, saying some weird stuff, and Abigail's just like, okay. And then Abigail digs a hole in the mud by the pond and hibernates. So I think this story is weird. I am so interested in, I really like the character Cynthia, and I really like the character Abigail. I think that they're both very interesting, and I feel like Cynthia's almost like, she's like a soothsayer, or, like, she's kind of like this mystical element to the story, which is weird. So I think this story is pretty interesting. This one is 2,780 words, and I finished this on August 16th, I think. It might have been a couple days before that. It might have even been the 14th. It was not the 16th. I'm gonna write the 15th, because I can't remember. Now I'm working on a story called, so I think I'm gonna call it Mirror Suzanne. I'm in, like, the idea stage of this one, where I'm kind of just, like, having some time to think about it. But so far it's inspired by this piece that I wrote about a lady who finds, like, a face carved in a stone, and the face tells her, like, hey, you can have everything that you want. You can be exactly who you want to be, in two ways. One is you have to talk to me every day, and, like, it'll happen gradually. Or two, you can trade spaces with me, and you go into the rock, and I just become the ideal version of you. So that's what this one's about. And I feel like this one could actually, like, grow into, like, novella size if I really wanted it to go that way, because I feel like there's enough, like, long-term growth in this one that it really could use a longer time to draw all of that out. But right now, currently, I'm writing it as just a short story. I think. So we'll see. I have no idea when I'm gonna stop writing short stories. I'm having such a good time with it. They are really satisfying to write, and they're really manageable because I can you know, really consider these ideas without feeling like I'm losing time, like, writing. I don't know. I feel like I've made some breakthroughs recently with, like, my thoughts and my habits with writing and trying to be a better writer. I think I'm making good progress. So, anyway, I think this is helping me understand, like, what it takes to have a good character. I still don't know if I have good characters, but I think the character Abigail and the character Cynthia are, like, pushing me towards that direction. I think the previous two stories, they had characters who, like, had jobs. They were people, but they weren't really people. So, anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. Bye.